broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, yes! Look at that. As we like to say, if you hear that song, it can only mean one thing, and it means it is Sunday afternoon, 5:30 Pacific time, or thereabouts. We like to be somewhere between there. Here on the GH Report on AfterBuzz TV. That's right. Yeah, we have to say that, AfterBuzz TV. Look at that. There was only two of us here today.
I know.
And then there were two, but there are two of your fan favorites here. Sure.
Definitely.
I'm going so forward in saying that. Yes, two of your fan favorites. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. And I'm joined, as always, by the lovely and talented Lacretia Lyon.
Hey, guys. And if you can spell my name right, I know I get tired of doing this, but LACRETIALYON. Follow me anywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. There's only one.
And James Lott Jr., the man who usually sits in this seat, is off this week. His granddaughter celebrating a birthday. So look at that. He's spending time with his granddaughter. If anybody that follows James on Facebook have seen some photos of them, they're hanging out, enjoying the day together. And Ladine is off she's on assignment, as we like to say. Yes, she's off on assignment. But folks, in the meantime, they'll follow us on Facebook, like us on iTunes, rate us, comment on YouTube. James loves all the comments that he sees on iTunes and YouTube. He shares them with us all the time. He always gets excited about those. So please continue with those comments about the show, about all of us. We read every single one of them. Now, before we get going, folks, while you're sitting there getting ready to settle in and listen to us talk about the week that was in Port Charles, you probably want to enjoy that time by maybe snacking a little bit while you're getting ready to watch us. Now, are you looking for a cool and creative gift to get someone you like? Well, imagine how happy they'd be when they got home from an exhausting day at work and all the ingredients to a delicious, healthy dinner was right there waiting for them. Come on, you know that everyone's lives are crazy busy these days. I mean, geez, how many shows are you doing here at AfterBuzz, Lacretia?
Like 4?
See, look at that. Who has time to cook? Who has time to go to the grocery store and do all that shopping? Why not just be able to come home and have it all waiting for you? That's what's great about Blue Apron. See, these people with kids who never have time to shop after work, so help them out by getting them a subscription to Blue Apron. How about someone who just had a baby and can't even get out of the house? Or maybe newlyweds who want to pop up in a bottle of wine and cook a romantic meal together. Or like Lacretia, hosting 4 shows here on AfterBuzz. She doesn't have time to go to the grocery store. Now, Blue Apron is a gift they're guaranteed to love because Blue Apron provides ingredients and instructions on how to make amazing meals for less than $10 per meal. You know, I know a friend of mine that I work with, Emma. She uses Blue Apron. She keeps showing me all these photos of all the things that she's been taking, all the food that she's been making, like these burgers with like this, this great British pub cheese on top of it and everything.
She puts all of it on Instagram too.
Yes. Just it makes me incredibly envious that I'm not doing it. Now, get this: each meal could be prepared in 40 minutes or less. And plus, Blue Apron has meals for all dietary needs. So you don't have to worry if maybe you have gluten allergies or you're just a vegetarian. No worries. You can make dishes like chicken. So good that I can't even say it because my mouth is salivating so much. Chicken cacciatore or kimchi and barley miso ramen.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Yeah, look at that. See, all right. See, Lacretia's on board.
I love my Korean food.
Now you can cook with ingredients that you've never used before, like watermelon radishes, farro, and purple potatoes. And the recipes are between 500 to 700 calories per portion. Delicious and good for you. Right now you can get your first 2 meals for free at blueapron.com/podcast. That's blueapron.com/podcast. Blue Apron, it's a better way to cook.
And Daquan complimented you. Nice advertising, Frank.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Just don't ask me to say chicken cacciatore 5 times fast.
That's a hard one.
Well, yes, we had another exciting week that was set here at Port Charles. How did you feel about this last week?
I actually really liked it. Now, how about you? I know you didn't like the week before.
Oh, man. This week was certainly much better. Last week, man, it hit all my buttons. This week I wasn't as bad for that, but
It wasn't as bad.
Wasn't as bad. Wasn't as bad. So I guess we'll just jump into it as I, as always, adopt my best James Lott Jr. voice. We'll get right into the main one this whole week here. Carly, Sonny, Michael, Ava, Kiki, Franco, and Diane. I'm just going to throw Diane there, too.
Yes.
I was happy to see her right in there.
I know, me too. I was like, we got Diane more than one day this week. That's
Yeah.
why I was like, it's got to be a good week then.
So we're still dealing with the Morgan storyline, but at least I felt like we're kind of moving towards more of the ramifications of what happened last week. So that seems at least better than what we were dealing with last week.
Yeah, and I just have to say, again, kudos to Brian Craig. He has just been fantastic. I mean, when my mother and grandmother are just like, oh my God, this kid is so good. Did he do his research? Because it reminds him of my brother, who also suffers from bipolar disorder. So yeah, I mean, just I have to say, I give that kid a Daytime Emmy, for Christ's sakes. He's so good. And it really makes you feel. And to me, I thought Carly and Sonny, how they were with them this week, and even Diane got to have an emotional moment with Morgan. It really pulled on the heartstrings.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand because I know we've been talking about like Sonny in the wheelchair. Seemed to get his act together more. But once he got out of the wheelchair, the way he was for a couple days this week, it was like, oh man, he's just kind of like Sonny of old.
Back himself, yeah.
Yes, but I felt like I could understand why. I mean, this is such a. I mean, he suffers from that same problem too as well. So I can understand why it hits a little close to home, and trips a lot of triggers in his own personal life. So it's having a tough time, especially with your own son. Can you really just treat him? Could you send him off to an institution to get the care that he really needs? Is that something that Sonny could do? And you find out that he's having a tough time pulling the trigger at first.
Yeah, and I really, liked that with Sonny, and I'm glad that he finally made the right decision. But I do get, since he suffers himself and doesn't want to see weakness, he didn't want that for Morgan. But Carly, was convinced this was the right thing for him, and that's why I really respected Carly this week, because she finally is owning up to, maybe they're part of Morgan's problem. They need to let him suffer the consequences for once. And then so that, something worse doesn't happen. I mean, because Kiki, kind of opened her eyes at the end, but, Morgan is partially to blame for what happened to her.
Yeah, and especially, as Carly was saying to Sonny, it's like he wants to be you so bad that if we don't do something now, he's just going to continue to try to be like you.
Yeah, and I think that was a good line, and I think that's what finally, made Sonny think, this is on me, and I need to make the right choice right now.
Yeah, and as much as the storyline as a whole has been irritating me, as you're saying, Brian Craig was fantastic, especially that scene in his room where you've got Andre, you've got Sonny, Carly, and Diane right in there,
yeah.
all of them, and just wait that he's just pleading and bargaining and doing whatever he can to be able to not have to go to that. That was some good acting by him.
Yeah, and I really liked that Diane and Dr. Maddox were involved in that as well and got their emotional moments with Morgan because, Dr. Maddox has been his doctor for just a little while. But Diane, like she said, I've known you since you were a little boy, Morgan, and we actually got to see some, emotional scenes from Carolyn Hennessy, which is always welcome.
Yeah, it was just nice that she kind of, always put her heart first and just, knew that she gave him two options. And, I mean, even in her heart, she seemed to know, like, all right, we could go to court and see what could happen that way. But she knew that, we could try that. I'm sure she would work her magic and make it happen, and maybe probably get him off. There's always a tumor in the jar as Diane's greatest defense. I mean, how can anybody else that she represents is going to get out? But knowing that the best move is that he needs to go and spend some time in an institution.
Yeah, because hopefully Morgan will be able to come out of this. Like, as you see, obviously it's not too bad. Nina and Franco came out of it all right, so...
The only thing that's really bugging me though is that I want another storyline for Kiki. I want her, and we've talked about this so many times, a different storyline that doesn't revolve around the Corinthos boys. Yeah,
because that's my thing, is I really think that we would see her character shine more just away from them, just for a minute. I mean, if they want to have her and Morgan be in-game, whatever, I mean, I'm fine with that, but just for a little bit, could she not be involved with Michael or Morgan or even like Carly? Because, she's part of the Jerome family, and, yeah, they've kind of moved out with some other characters like Paul and Alexis and, whatnot. So why can't Kiki move away from that?
I know, and I felt like, or maybe this is a chance, because that's a pretty good breaking point right there. It's like, I tried to help you and I got shot and I almost died. I need to just be away from you. But the fact that he was the one person that was able to get her to kind of come out of her coma, like, oh man.
That's what worries me. And I did love that Ava was the bigger person in that. That was her second time that week. And by saying, you know what, Morgan, as much as I blame you for this, she went there for you. If anybody could do it, you could do it. Go in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. 2 times this week that Ava, because she usually is really petty and vindictive, and she was able to at least put her kids' desires and needs ahead of her own for the first time in who knows how long.
Yeah, exactly. There was a real turning point for Ava as well as Carly. To me, their characters are really mirroring in the fact that they're finally owning up to the fact that what's wrong with their kids is them.
Yeah, and I mean, so Ava lets Sunny have Avery for a while because she's just focused on Kiki right now. But I do like Carly, though, at least calling Sunny, and I was like, no, this isn't a permanent thing.
Yeah.
She's only here temporarily. Because Sunny's like, oh no, she's never leaving again. That's it. She's home now. At least I feel like Carly's at least, all right. No. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, Carly had her head on straight all week long. I was really impressed. Because, pointing that out. And like even Ava said, she goes, don't try to take her away. This is not the time. And he's like, yeah, Morgan's in the hospital too. And it's just like, Sunny he tends to roll back. I mean, even after Fridays, I'm just worried he's going to go back to being Sunny that we all know and hate, or love to hate.
No, I know. It's like, oh, man. I have to admit, I agree. He's so much better in the wheelchair. Like, I didn't realize how much I missed that wheelchair until I saw him. Like, the wheelchair and that beard.
Yeah, wheelchair Sunny was great.
What are the fans saying?
Basically, most of them agree that Sunny is the worst. We got Mel, Alexander Hugh. Of course, Daquan blames Sunny for everything, but
And he was on such a nice roll when he was in that wheelchair. He was doing, he had so much sage advice. He had a nice perspective on life. Was able to give good pieces of advice to friends and family. But now, oh boy. I guess all that energy is just focused on his legs now. He can't focus on anything in his head.
Yeah, we got to get Paul to shoot him again, I guess.
But then we have more scenes with Ava and Franco really kind of bonding over that, and how Ava recognizes how much of a part of Kiki's life Franco is.
Yeah, and I really like that because, again, it was Ava putting her pettiness aside to be like, hey, you know what? You deserve to be here. You've been there for her. I'm glad that you're here. And to me, they've never really been too much against each other, even though she did try to kill him.
And he did leave her behind to get to fall off that bridge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're even, so.
That's true. Yeah, I think they're pretty much even at this point. But it's interesting. You see those scenes where Franco's just hanging out at Kiki's bedside, but then he also gets a little message there from little Jake.
Yeah, I really like their relationship, and to me, Franco and Elizabeth are way more interesting than Elizabeth and Jason, and it brings out Elizabeth's bitchy side, which I like. And as long as they keep her like that with Franco or whoever, that's good. Just none of this wallowing.
Well, I guess we'll slide over and talk a little bit about Liz and Sam and Jason and Jake and Franco a little bit for this as well. It's and I guess we got to tie in Nina with this too, because Nina and Franco's big thing is that the fact that Nina wants to start a family.
Yeah.
And she's reached out to adoption agencies, things like that. And Franco's like, there's just no way that anybody would give us the custodianship of a child. There's just no way.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Franco's being realistic, and again, it's you don't want to crush Nina's dreams because especially considering she was pregnant at the time she went into a coma. So this has really always been a big deal for her. So to me, this is something at this point in their relationship he knew that. So I'm surprised that this has really become a problem. But that's why I'm thinking that maybe this isn't the route they're going, which makes me sad because I like Franco and Nina, but kind of liking Franco and Liz, too, as long as Nina is not broken at the end of this.
Yeah, because it seems like Franco's big thing is it's not necessarily even if everything was fine and they're able to get kids with Nina, it doesn't seem like he doesn't really want the kids, but he has such a connection with Jake. With
Jake and with Kiki. So, to me, Franco's actually a better dad than some of them on the show. That's why it's like, you think you're bad. Look at Sunny, man. You can't be any worse than that.
Yeah, but I wonder how it must seem to Nina for the fact that he is so adamant of not wanting to have any sort of child in their relationship, and yet he has such ties to these two other children.
Yeah, I could tell that, with Kiki it's different. She's an adult. But yeah, and Nina doesn't seem to be jealous of that at all. She was even helpful to Ava and Kiki. But with Jake, he's a child, and he flew all the way to Philadelphia to be with him, bring him a new bike. When he found out he didn't have a bike, that's got to make her jealous.
Yeah, and that was like the quickest flight ever from Port Charles to Philadelphia. Like, I mean, it was like one commercial block, and all of a sudden he's in Philadelphia with a bike. I'm like, huh? What?
You can't even fly to Vegas that quick.
So we start off the week. They're still in Philadelphia at the Shriners Hospital for Children, which, as I know we talked about some on Twitter, it's like, all right, we're getting a little tired of the Shriners Hospital for Children, the whole name for it. Because even when they're doing a scene with the doctor, and she just shorthands it as Shriners. I'm like, can we just call it just Shriners? It just rolls off the tongue so much more naturally in a sentence, but it's always like Shriners Hospital for Children. Like, ugh, it's such a roadblock in a sentence. Like,
see if they could do a live read like you, Frank.
Oh, yeah. Do they serve chicken cacciatore at Shriners Hospital for Children? But we have Jason and Sam right there at the start of the week, and Nicholas shows up with the boys, all sporting bow ties.
Yes, that was a cute idea that Spencer had, and I'm just so sad that he's too busy to be on the show, but at least we get his mention.
That's true, because he made a fortune there selling those bow ties, and was able to donate it over to Shriners. So they bring Cameron and Aiden there so they can visit their brother Jake. So they hang out there, and they get a chance for Jason and Nicholas to have a little moment there. Where as much as Jason really appreciates all he's done, no, he still hasn't forgotten, and he's not gonna. He's still gonna go ahead with a lawsuit, do all this stuff.
Yeah, I do like that. Jason was grateful, but he's still like, I still don't like you. You still took my company, and I'm still going after you. I'm just being respectful of Jake and Elizabeth and the rest of the boys here. Jason don't take no crap.
No, not at all. And it's interesting that relationship. I'm wondering why it's taken so long, because it seemed like that lawsuit was just on the fast track to really going somewhere, and then it just kind of laid kind of dormant for a while. I'm wondering when it's going to start picking back up again. I'm desperate to see Diane in a court scene, just attacking Nicholas or something. Yeah,
that would be fun, because we just need more Diane.
Yes.
I think any way we can pull her in there, we need more Diane.
And then, but we hear Jason as Nicholas and Elizabeth have a little talk. Jason comes in and hears about Nicholas talking about the wedding for Alexis and Julian, finding out that there was a gunfire there, everybody's held hostage, and that Sam was in danger. Nothing happened, of course, but he gets concerned and gives her a call.
Yeah, I like that. And then, of course, when Sam gets there and shows up, Elizabeth mentions she just showed up out of nowhere, and it's like, honey, step back. Jason's like, no, I invited them. I loved how he just shoved that in there.
Yeah, because Liz has the things like, I didn't realize things were going so fast between you guys.
They're married. I mean, yes, he may not remember it, but they're married and they do have a kid together.
But, I will, part of me agrees with Liz, though, because, I mean, it seemed like so fast that it went from, like, Jason and Sam just, like, being friendly to all of a sudden, like, hey, boom, let's start making out, even though you've got head trauma. Let's still make out. I feel like that it really jumped to all of a sudden, like, really close.
Yeah, and I really think that Liz and the boys and all that was really only the thing holding him back, though. And I think that was the thing, is he always felt that connection to Sam, but he felt this obligation over here. And even when he realized he was Jason, he felt like he had these two obligations. And it was like, he always did feel more of a Sam, but he didn't want to hurt Elizabeth. So at this point, now that that's null and void, he's just like, all right, Sam, Jason, he doesn't play.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know. I think I enjoy the chemistry between Jason and Elizabeth more than I enjoy Jason and Sam. Sorry, guys. I know. I just like, I'm not as excited seeing Jason and Sam together. I don't know. For as much as I was like, all right, he's got amnesia. How long is they going to do this reveal? But during that whole time, since they've spent so long on delaying that whole revelation there, I just felt like I got more interested in seeing him with Elizabeth than now with Sam.
Well, I think that, at that time there was more story with that because we knew that the fallout was going to be horrible. And so I do agree that there was a little bit better story with Elizabeth at the point, especially, when they didn't know, except for her. But yeah, that's the thing, is I think Jason and Sam need a better story. Because, there's too much focus on Jake, which Jason does need to be there or else he looks like a crappy dad. But yeah, I think once this gets settled, maybe they'll go on an adventure like they used to, which made it really interesting. And that was part of their relationship. This is a danger, because Jason even mentioned that. Was that it? And it's kind of like, well, I don't know. We're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, Sam is like, I was part of it because, just that danger element there. And I feel like Jason is feeling like, well, yeah, I'm not necessarily that same guy that you fell in love with, that lived more of that dangerous lifestyle. I'm a different guy at this point. Would you still want to be with somebody that's not quite as fully invested in that dangerous kind of lifestyle? Which I would think that hopefully Sam, now having a child, and Danny, I think her perspective on that has changed slightly. You still want, it's like you want that danger, but you almost want but you want that danger to be safe.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like their danger won't be like, shootouts and mob like they used to be, but maybe like, her PI work. That's, a little bit dangerous, but, a mom can still do that without, feeling, like she's going to lose her life and her child.
Yeah. Just don't put her near any stairs. That's what she really wants to do with Jason, like so he can carry her upstairs and prevent her from falling again. That's it. Anybody chiming in terms of if they like Jason with Sam or Elizabeth better?
Well, most people do want J-Sam. So, yeah, that is the thing, is the liaison J-Sam fans are just always at it. But, yeah, and I think 40 Love Beauty says Liz needs to move on to something else, but not Franco. Maybe he could be her new Patrick, where there was just always that platonic relationship, and I could see that.
Yeah, it's interesting because they spent such a long amount of time trying to get Franco and Nina together as a couple there, and they put them through so many trials and tribulations, and they're so, in their own way, both broken people that have kind of found, just a kinship in each other, and it's kind of helped them kind of mend their, broken psyches and kind of come together and kind of move forward in a great positive way. I mean, who would have thought when Nina, back when she first came on, if you could imagine her just somebody that's the head of a fashion magazine.
Yeah, the change in both Nina and Franco from where they started out to now is just like, it's amazing to see. These characters were, one-note jokes in the beginning. I hate to say it because they're such phenomenal actors, but what the new writers have come in and made them into is actually likable characters that we're rooting for, not just to stay together, but their jobs. I mean, they actually go to work and do their job, which, we didn't see before in a lot of characters.
But I almost feel like it's like they're also kind of working on splitting them apart. Almost what I'm seeing sort of sometimes with Maxie and Nathan, too, where they're both so invested in their work as well that it's not because they don't care about each other or love each other. It's just that they also are passionate about what they do for a living as well. And that seems at some point that's going to start kind of creating a little break in the relationship, especially with Nina and Franco in regards of a child as well. I think that's going to be the biggest issue between the two of them.
Yeah, and I think that is the thing is, when one wants a baby, something's going to have.
Yeah, and that is certainly not something that's going to, I don't think Nina's going to drop anytime soon. So we've got all of that happening with them this week. So Franco then makes a trip out there to see Jake, give him a bicycle. And even Liz at the end of it's like, what are you doing here? But I did like Franco was willing to, it was interesting that he was able to open up to Elizabeth about his concerns about Kiki, and now understanding like how she must have felt with Jake, because she just wants to do anything to get Kiki to wake up. Yeah,
and to me that was probably one of my favorite scenes with them. I did love Liz, kind of rubbing him in the face of Sam and Jason a little bit, because that's more the Elizabeth I like, the bad girl. But yeah, like to me, them opening up and talking, it's like, I see it here, whether they just stay friends or, become a couple. I mean, and if even James Lott Jr. chimed in and said he wants to keep Franco and Nina together. But yeah, I'm guessing if we could have a friendship, the chemistry's there.
Yeah, it's although I felt like Elizabeth's I don't know, her reassurances to Franco were just kind of like, it's gonna be okay. It's just gonna get better. It's gonna be tough, but it'll get better. I'm like, yeah, all right. You're not fully invested in this Franco friendship yet. I feel like Franco's definitely more invested in Liz than Liz is in Franco at this point. Yeah, and that is the thing, and that's usually the key to the good Liz relationships, in my opinion, because when she's really invested in a guy, it's just terrible. It makes her look bad. I mean, because with Jason, and then Lucky to an extent, at one point, even though I loved them together when it was Jonathan Jackson and they were teenagers, she would just get really obsessed with them, and it's just like, girl, chill. But when someone like AJ or Rick or whatever, where it's a little bit like Liz has the upper hand, I like her relationships better. No. I have to say. It's like, it's sad to say, because I do love Franco and Nina where they're more equal, but with Liz, it's just like, you only have two modes, obsessed and nonchalant. I prefer the nonchalant. Yeah, and I feel like the thing that's going to make more interactions between Liz and Franco happen is Jake, because Jake is really taken with Franco. They've really connected over the art and all that stuff. So I feel like he's the one that's going to put them in situations where you're going to see them getting more together. Because even Liz, as Jake mentions, like, oh yeah, I want to do art with Franco, and Liz is like, all right, really? Okay. Another great, so we'll check in with our other people as we're talking about fractured storylines. We've got Nathan, Maxie, Nina, just a little bit there, and Obrecht. I'm going to throw her out too, because we had a little cameo from Obrecht this week too as well.
I love Obrecht because to me, she makes Nathan interesting. Like, that's the thing, is I like, and she was really impressed too, that he wanted to open up to her and talk to her about, Claudette, who we have no idea. I mean, we all assume it's some ex-girlfriend or whatever, but, the dogs, obviously Maxie was calling bullshit. I mean...
These were terrible, terrible scenes. As much as it was great to see Felicia back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I did love that she was rubbing it in his face. Like, yeah, the dog. Like, Felicia's so trying to get him to tell the truth. And I'm just like, it's so sad to see a veteran be utilized like this. It's like, could we give her something better? But I guess we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I got you this stuffed poodle. Oh boy. So, I mean, clearly this Claudette person, well, according to his conversation with Obrecht, I mean, explaining this Claudette situation, you have a good chance of losing Maxie, which... Oh, come on. You've got a better chance of losing Maxie by not saying anything.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, like, Maxie has been a great girlfriend to Nathan, and that can't always be said about Maxie, but Maxie has become more of the voice of reason, especially in that set, and she's been very honest with him since the beginning of their relationship, so it's very odd that he would try to lie about this. It doesn't really fit his character either, but again, some cracks on Nathan will make him more interesting. He was always too perfect.
Yeah, and it is interesting. Maxie, though, for as much as she's grown as a person, if she doesn't know something, if she gets to wind that somebody else has known something, she is like a dog with a bone. She will not let that go.
Oh, yeah.
And she'll just keep poking and poking and poking.
That's why I was surprised that at the end she's like, you don't have to tell me. I trust you, blah, blah. It's like, that is not Maxie Jones.
I was thankful for that at least, because I was like, all right, thank you, Maxie, for at least growing up and realizing, especially in this case, where it's like, maybe she's a little offended that he said Claudette and trying to figure out what that name was. But, I mean, he had a past before he met Maxie, and that doesn't mean when you meet somebody, you're going to disclose every other relationship that's ever happened in your life. Yeah,
but when it's brought up, don't lie about it. And I think that's the thing. Like she said, I didn't need to know until now. I mean...
Yeah, if you never said Claudette, which... I don't know. I mean, it's this is a storyline that's been jump-started really quickly. Just from all of a sudden from last week at the wedding where he has that weird look as he sits down in the pew to like, uh-oh. To all of a sudden now he's waking up in a drug-induced sleep and saying, Claudette, I love you. To lying about it. I don't know. So far, I don't know what could be so crazy bananas about their relationship that if Maxie were to know with a real story, it would cause them to break up. Yeah,
exactly. Especially because Maxie has more skeletons in her closet than the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So it's like, she's not going to judge him. That's one of Maxie's best qualities, is no judgment. I mean, you see how she is with Lulu and Dante, and even Lulu and Dante are telling him, hey, be honest with each other. That was our problem.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like Nathan and Dante sit around there, and he's like, what, you got to tell her. Look what happened to us. We're all falling apart because that didn't happen. But I still don't understand why Nathan is all of a sudden, and Nathan's excuse is like, I was on pain meds, and I don't know why I said these things, that she was my dog. You can't really hold me to this. Like, these are terrible excuses, Nathan.
I was like, this is a terrible I love how he got into detail, that it was a black little poodle, blah, blah, but yet it's a really bad story. He got the details, but no follow-through.
And then we have Nina there, too, because Nathan kind of uses Nina as kind of his way to get out. Like, oh, no, Nina, Claudette the dog was the dog that we had after Nina went into the coma. So using her to kind of like get around that story as well. Which I'm like, okay. But the one thing I did like about that, though, is that Nina and Maxie's moment. Like, what do you know about kids? And Max's like, I'm going to make some coffee. We're going to talk about this. Yeah, let me break it all down to you, what I did.
Yeah, that's why I love that Maxie is sort of the adult in the Nina relationship. Because, when Nina went into a coma, she was younger than Maxie. So that is sort of her mentality. But Maxie's very encouraging. I mean, it's not just because of Nathan. they have this friendship outside of him. That's why I hate what happens with Maxie and Nina if something happens with Nathan, because it was really nice to see Maxie sit down and talk about what happened with her and Brett and Lulu.
Yeah. And so as we started talking about there, both Maxie and Nathan talked to Dante and Lulu throughout the week here, kind of getting some relationship advice as well. And then we're checking in on the status of Dante and Lulu's relationship as well. And we find out that the divorce papers have been finalized, then they've been sent back to each of them. And Dante comes over to, that's why he's talking to Nathan, because he got the papers in the mail, and it's like, oh, this is what's happening. We thought we made such a fantastic connection here after what happened on the Haunted Star, and we pulled her out of the water, and I thought we were really connected, but nope, all of a sudden the divorce papers here. Like, well, those were put in motion before any of that happened, Dante. I think you maybe realize how mail and the court process works, that you send things off, and then if something happens in the meantime, that's still going to keep going through the court system. It's not going to just change. The court doesn't know that all this stuff happened between you guys and say, oh, maybe we don't finalize these things. Maybe these guys might work it out. But at least we got a chance to hear Lulu explain why she couldn't swim out of the water.
Yeah.
Which was a terrible explanation.
And that was my thing, is I'm like, I could believe it was cold, but that cold? I mean, I was like,
and the water was rough. And like, that was not rough water. That was very just still water right there that you were kind of thrashing around in. But Lulu is just so devastated when she looks through her mail and sees those divorce papers there, and then immediately just starts crying and taking off her wedding ring. This is over. I'm going to find a jar to put these rings in and just look at these things later on.
Yeah, and Dante did the same thing. I was just like, okay, again, 40 Love Beauty says, I'm so over this Dante and Lulu stuff. Either stay together or get divorced. And I agree. I don't know about you, Frank, because it's just getting to the point where you guys were in a good place. Now you see the divorce papers and you just burst into tears. What is with this?
I like Lulu, like having those papers means that our marriage is over. That means, I guess I can't ever just like simply go talk to him. And I was so glad that they didn't drag it out. And at the end of the episode on Friday, she does show up at his door to talk about this. Because I was like, if you're just going to have them not immediately address this, I'm going to be really irritated by this. Because it's not just because the court says the papers are here doesn't mean you have to take off your wedding ring and say like, oh, we're done. I guess we can't be together.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's not how that works. And considering, Lulu for sure, her parents were married and divorced how many times? And then you had Tracy and Luke. It's like, shouldn't you know that? I mean, I get Dante. His mother never married, but...
And I mean, because the whole thing is, it seems like Lulu's afraid to make the same mistakes that they've done before. And that she's kind of gun shy to get back in. Because what if Dante cheats again? Which I always like, what if Dante cheats? Like, how about Lulu? What if you lie again? What if you do that too?
Yeah.
It's not just Dante. Again, Lulu, it's the whole reason that we're in this. It's not just one person. It was both of you guys that are responsible for this. But she's just gun shy about Dante.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I wish that Lulu could go to Oz and find a brain at this point, because, you're a Spencer. Act like it. I mean, it's just like either, when she was getting her revenge on Valerie, she was at least interesting. It was like, okay, but now we're to the point where she's out of the picture. She has nothing to do with Dante at all. It's all just on you two now, just like it was in the beginning. It was just about you two not being honest with each other. And so it's like either get back together or stay far away from each other and into new storylines.
Yeah, and it's you can be together and also maybe see a counselor or something to work on your issues that you do have. Just because you don't have to wait for all your issues to magically be solved or work them all out before you say, like, I guess we can be together now. No. You can still choose to be together and also work on your marriage at the same time. But we'll see what happens with that one. Other storylines that are irritating me this week, I don't know how you feel about this, are we've got Tracy and Hayden, and we'll throw in a little bit of Dylan, because we got a little quick peek of Dylan this week.
Yeah, a little bit of Dylan and Paul with Tracy's situation. Because, I really so hope that this is someone's poisoning Tracy to keep her out of this, where it's not an actual medical crisis. Because Tracy needs to be her badass self. Tracy is a boss, and she should be the one fighting Nicholas full head. I mean, I don't mind her working with Hayden, because I actually like them together. I think that they make a great team, and to me, the way that Hayden actually seemed to care about Tracy was nice to see. That's why I'm guessing she really is Susan, because the way she was sisterly with Dylan.
That's
But
true.
yeah.
And it was interesting that Hayden is really pressing Tracy on why she's so invested in ELQ for this, and that knowing the specific 6 or 7 year window that she was not in Port Charles and not really doing any work with ELQ. What was that all about? So I'm wondering if there's something in that little missing piece of time that they're going to try to explore with Tracy, which could be interesting. That's a significant chunk of time that something really compelling could have happened that could be coming back to haunt her now.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I'm really interested to see, where this is going because, I don't want it to be like a tumor or something because I don't think that Tracy deserves that. To me, Tracy, if it's a poison, she's going to come back. I mean, she's the one that saved Luke from when Jerry poisoned him. Yeah. That's the thing is this is the person we want to see. So it's just like, where is this going?
Yeah, and it was interesting because it seems like at least after that initial revelation that Hayden was working with Tracy, most of their interactions have been Tracy being just very kind of keeping the upper hand, being very just snarky with Hayden the whole time. Rachel.
Yeah.
All that stuff and not really being very compassionate at all. But it was interesting after that conversation when Hayden really snaps back in regards to her father, that they just kind of have a moment. They just actually kind of just drop their guards and they just have like a nice little honest back and forth about their fathers and their relationships and how they try to live up to their father's ideals. Yeah,
and I think that that's really shown a bond between these characters that I'd like to see them explore more. And you see that how they had Hayden and Dylan together, and then when Paul came in, Hayden was nowhere to be found. That, again, points in the direction that she may be his daughter, which would be good because that would tie her to that family and kind of keep that relationship, but possibly add a little wrench to it with the, because Tracy's, relationship with Paul is on the rocks, whatever it may be. But, yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like we're giving Hayden better story, but, let's keep it with Tracy, but don't expense Tracy to it because it's good to see Tracy in her own story, but don't let the newbies get in her way.
Yeah, it's oh man, and the one thing I did not like, and I'd hope they do something different, is the fact that Tracy knows that there's something wrong with her. Dylan and Hayden are both telling her doctor. First, she doesn't want to be treated by Griffin because too young. I want somebody who hasn't been here to the hospital more than 2 days.
I loved that.
Yeah. So they bring in the cranky old guy that Sonny didn't want anything to do with. But then after Dylan and Hayden leave, she recognizes that something's wrong, but she doesn't want to tell anybody what the deal is. And I was like, oh man, please don't go to this route where you're hiding whatever this medical mystery is that's going on with you. Why are you playing just, so secretive about that? That's the thing that's bugging me about the storyline. I hope they do something different.
Well, and she was honest with the doctor whose bedside manner really mirrors Tracy's personality. I kind of wonder, it was like, I would be okay with them getting together because it's like, oh my God, what kind of havoc would that be? Because she was like, I like this guy. He's straightforward, Well,
that moment when he comes into in a room and he puts his hand on her shoulder, I'm like, whoa, oh, hold on there.
Yeah.
that's a pretty friendly doctor there, huh? Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. I didn't even make that connection that Hayden hadn't been in the room when Paul was there as well. So yeah, puts fuel to the fire that she could be Susan. Ooh, Paul's daughter. Yes. So, man, I'm hoping whatever it is though, it's we do know Ned's coming back at the end of the month, which is great. Wally Kirk coming back by the end of the month there for who knows how long, but I'm hoping that it's not just him visiting her in the hospital, checking up on her. I hope he's got more to do than just that. Yeah,
because obviously, Tracy needs Ned, and Dylan needs Ned, but so does Olivia.
Yes.
That's the thing is, her relationship with Julian and Alexis is great. She stepped back, no more sweater pictures. But yeah, let's give her something to do because I love Olivia and I'm glad she's got the visions back. But, her and Ned were an adorable couple that just really never got their day.
Yeah, and right now she's just the third wheel in that relationship, which, at least with the breastfeeding storyline, that kind of recontextualized the Alexis and Olivia relationship. But still, she needs something of her own to be able to kind of go out and do and have some kind of interests on her own that just don't have her coming back to Julian's house with weird photos of them in different colored sweaters and stuff. Hey, look what I got. Let me show you these great outfits. And then as we're talking about Griffin Monroe, there was the doctor that attended to Tracy right there at the floating rib. We see him, we know from last week that he's the one that's been following Anna around. And at the beginning of the week, we have this great scene between Anna and Andre.
Yeah, that's the thing, is their chemistry is just so off the charts. I mean, the relationship between these two characters, I mean, I've never rooted for a character this hard, to get together as Andre and Anna right now. To me, it's just like, this is a good story. This is how you write a romance. Not since, again, like Liz and Lucky when they were teenagers, or Luke and Laura. I mean, this is kind of the foundation of those great relationships. Because, yeah, they're not just hopping into bed with one another. No one's lying. They're just being two honest people who have a lot in common.
That by far,
who knew?
Oh, such a great scene. I mean, the moment where he takes her by the hand and he's holding her hands there, and they just have that connection right there. The only thing that bothers me about this is that I feel like it's going to come to the expense of Anna and Jordan's friendship, which I don't want to see, because I really liked how they've kind of really built that friendship up, and I'd hate to have her potential relationship with Andre kind of be the thing that kind of messes that up. So that's my only downfall to that potential storyline. Yeah,
and luckily, Jordan and Andre appear to just be having fun. I don't think that there is, there's nothing wrong with their relationship, but I don't think they have this deep connection like he does with Anna. And Jordan is not a petty woman. I think if she saw that there was something there much more than she had, because she's not that invested, I don't see her having a problem. But you never know. I mean, they may have her just flip out. I would hate to see that, though, because they're a really good friendship.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, certainly her obsession, I mean, I guess I have to call it at least an obsession with Curtis right now until we know exactly what the nature of their real relationship is. But she seems really obsessed by him. And the fact that they really can't seem to have a date without either Curtis being come up, or they get so distracted by that they realize, we will have to get up early to go to do work, so we can't really hang out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, I think their relationship is just to have something to keep Andre and Anna from going too fast, maybe. But yeah, because Jordan, I mean, again, I've said it time and time again, Rick, they had chemistry. Bring that guy back for her. Because Curtis and Hayden, because he didn't shoot her in the head. It's like, I know, like, because Jordan's also got a stick up her butt about Curtis, and we don't know what it is. I mean, I know that they're probably, like, peeling the layers as we speak, but... I don't like those hate relationships like that.
Yeah. So we do find, though, right before Andre and Anna have that great scene, though, we finally get a chance for Anna and Griffin to have a little bit of a chat. And Anna even says, like, do I know you from somewhere? You seem very familiar. So I know that James Lott Jr. was saying that it could be Hayden's son, or Anna's son. Is that who Griffin could really be? Which could be very interesting. And I hear that supposedly, at least the rumors that are going on there, is that Griffin's going to get working with Brad in terms of maybe finding out something. So we know if Brad's involved, it has something to do with DNA.
Oh, yeah. And that would be interesting, to give her another child on campus, and they do look alike. But yeah, like, or if he's just related to Duke, maybe. Like, maybe not even Anna. Because to me, having that connection, as long as, he's somehow related to Duke, whether it be their child that they lost, or his son, I think that would help Anna finally, put that to bed. This vendetta with Carlos and Julian, because she misses Duke, and that's why. But if they had this child together, or if this is just Duke's son looking for her, it'd be more interesting, and kind of lay that groundwork where that's resolved, and she can maybe move on with Dr. Maddox.
Yeah, it's, I wonder, it'd be nice to be able to have her have something in there to fill the hole that Duke left. Although given that just the way that she is, even if it turned out to be that it was the lost child of Anna and Duke, would that still be enough to completely fill the void?
I think at this point, because, it's been so long, I do feel like she, with Robin gone, that was just another blow. But yeah, to have a kid that was, hers with Duke, I think would bring Anna into a much better place than she has been. Because, she's still, after Carlos and Julian to an extent, because that hasn't been resolved.
Yeah, because I feel like, sadly, the way that they're writing Julian right now, he's not leaving the show anytime soon. They've really got him deep entrenched in different storylines. So that they can't, Anna's never going to be able to really put him away for anything like that. So Carlos is at least somebody that could be taken off. He's not really that entrenched in anything.
But I like Carlos. Let's keep him.
No.
That guy's awesome. Jeffrey Vincent Parise, please stay on the show.
Absolutely. In fact, we should be seeing a little something from at least some updates about what happened with Sabrina and Carlos after they made their way out of British Columbia.
Yeah, because I wonder if maybe Teresa Casillo's contract is maybe in question, is why we haven't, resolved it, or what? Because, I know she was on maternity leave, but you'd think we would have known whether the baby lived or died, or if they had their happy ending by now, if there wasn't some sort of, alternate agenda behind the scenes.
And we need something for Michael to go and do. We need him to race off to try to find her. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a relationship that. No, I mean, literally, we were all in agreement that no one cared about Michael and Sabrina, sadly.
And it's at least that I was talking about Sabrina. The one thing that was kind of nice, at least with Sabrina, was her relationship with Tracy, just to give her somebody else to talk to because she really didn't have any female friends. So it was nice to see that relationship with Hayden.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I actually would enjoy seeing more scenes between Tracy and Hayden, just having those kind of just little genuine moments there, than anything that I really enjoy between Tracy and Sabrina.
Well, because to me, Tracy and Hayden have a lot more in common. And with Tracy and Sabrina, it just always felt so forced. It was nice to see Tracy in a relationship with somebody because, since Connie Falconeri was murdered by Ava, Tracy had not had a female friend. So, yeah, the Sabrina thing was nice, but it just never felt real. Because, yeah, they're obviously from opposite sides of the world, opposite sides of the tracks. It just seemed forced. Because, yeah, she was Michael's girlfriend. That just seems weird. But with Hayden, they're working together. This doesn't seem forced to me.
Yeah, and so then also, as we're talking about Carlos a little bit here, we've got his boss, Julian. Basically, Julian and Alexis this week just spent a lot of time just hooking up in that hotel room that Sam got them. So that was Sam being the loving and attentive daughter. Hey, here's a hotel room for you guys. Get your freak on.
Yeah, that's what I love about the Davis girls is they're all just very open and honest about the sex life, even with their mother. Is Sam's like, all right, here's a hotel room. You guys, what do you think they're gonna do in there?
Yeah, they basically just stayed. They spent a lot of time in that hotel room, on and off that bed. Everywhere. So a lot of nice, a lot of shirtless scenes for Julian right there.
Yes, those are always nice.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it seems like I'll be curious to see what happens now. What's going to be the little wrinkle in that relationship? Because it feels like, especially as we tie in a little bit of that with Ava and Paul. Paul is talking to Ava because Ava says, "Hey, am I free with the witness protection program? If I want to be free, I need that recording of me confessing to killing Connie." And Paul's like, "I'm not going to give that up." No, sir.
Did Ava really think he was? That was the one time I was just like, Ava, seriously, he's got to have something on you in case he needs you again. Now, Paul obviously does care about Ava and Kiki, to an extent. That's sort of the reason why he kind of worked this out. And he felt really bad for Kiki being involved. So I don't think he's a bad guy. And then he would turn her in for whatever, but he wants that leverage for if he needs her again.
Hey, you always got to have something in your back pocket because you never know when you might need somebody with mob ties to be able to help you out.
Exactly.
But he also brings it up to Ava. It's like, hey, you saw what happened with your brother. He went straight. He got out of the business there. You could do that as well, too.
Well, and she had expressed to Julian before that she wanted that. And I do think that would be good to see Ava, trying to make a normal life out of it. But it is kind of hard. You can't have both the Jeromes out of the business for long. That's what worries me, unless you bring the Zakaras back or something.
Yeah, and it was interesting between Ava and Julian when they're having that discussion, and Ava's like, how do you know so much about these gun runners? Like, he hasn't been out of the mob that long.
Yeah.
I think, these people are really well known, so it doesn't seem surprising that he would know who these people are. Like, how do you know this, Julian? What are you doing?
I just had an epiphany that they need to do, and not just bring Epiphany back. But, gun running is involved with motorcycle gangs usually. That would bring a new element with getting the Jeromes out of the mob and have someone, fight against Sonny. Sorry, I'm a Sons of Anarchy fan, and, having withdrawals since it ended. But, yeah, you could go another route. It doesn't have to be the mob.
Now, who do you think is more likely to fall back into their old mob ways, Ava or Julian?
Honestly, Ava. Ava's always wanted power. Julian, I think once Julian realized he had family and Lucas and Sam, and then now with Leo, he really doesn't seem to care at all about, he's got, you only see him as his, publishing business and all that, and with Alexis. So it would just have to be a huge turnaround. Someone would have to die for Julian to go back in the mob. And for the love of God, do not kill Lucas.
But the thing is, like if you think like Jax, who's somebody like a businessman, or even the ELQ when Ned was prominently on the show, you saw them at least, involved in business type of storylines. You felt like, all right, yeah, these guys are running a business, or they're making big moves in a business there. Julian, I don't know what exactly he does. Like, what exactly do you do, Julian?
I guess he just signs paychecks and then always just naysays on what Nina comes up with.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all we see him. And that's why I would really like to see Jax back or somebody else to really combat with Julian in that, to give him something more to do. Because, yes, he does have this job. And, I mean, he has sex with Alexis every other day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, that's nice and all. Love in the afternoon. But we do want to see Julian do something else.
I don't mean to interrupt. It's just really throwing me off every time you guys are talking about Alexis in the show, because I'm like, what did I have sex with? What's happening?
Well, trust me, you wish you were Alexis, because
I mean,
William DeVry is a fantastic-looking fella.
No, I looked it up and I was
Yeah.
like, okay. I am a little jealous this other Alexis takes all the spotlight. But anyway, continue.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's because otherwise I feel like Julian doesn't really have anything going on right now, and so like you know, and then I always say, as I say, happy relationships kind of like you know like the death knell on a soap. So it's like I still think you don't have to worry about breaking them up, but you need to at least have them do something because it seems like they're very open and honest with each other.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess Julian has. I get. Alexis doesn't know. Well, Julian lied to Alexis about being responsible, being behind killing Duke. But Alexis at least
She
suspects.
knows. Yeah,
she knows.
Yeah, like I think he finally just owned up to it at one point. I don't remember the scene, but yeah, she knows that he had Carlos shoot Duke.
And she's still with him anyway. Look at that.
Yeah, you know, Alexis, you know, she's a ride or die chick just like Sam is with Jason. Like mother, like daughter. And that's the thing, though, is like Julian does have kids, and Sam and Leo and Lucas, so it's like, you know, we can see more scenes with them, but I would like to see Julian have his own story.
Yeah, you know, and you know, actually, what we should do is we should open up. Lacretia, we've been talking a lot about on this show about our thoughts about the week that was, but you know, it'd be a good time to open up the phone lines. Alexis, what do you think? What do you say we open up the phone lines?
Sure.
And we'll see if anybody wants to call in. In the meantime, though, we'll do our usual weekly segments.
I know.
There we go. So. Well, we're getting ready for the number here, and I'll say the number here real quick if you guys want to give a call in while Lacretia and I are doing our weekly segments.
I got you, Frank. So we got some rules, obviously, when you call in. First thing is, the number is 424-253-0749. Again, that's area code 424-253-0749. When you do call, please turn down your computers or anything else that you're listening on so that you can make sure that when you do call in that it doesn't get some weird feedback too. If there's a bunch of calls going in and I don't answer your call and you get a busy call, it's mostly just me trying to cycle through everything. So just be patient. And obviously as well, make sure when you do call, say your name and where you're from.
Look at that right there. That is a professional right there.
Well, thank you.
I know.
Alexis. In the meantime, we'll get our weekly segments going here. First, we'll do mine, get him to the ER stat. And we've talked a little bit about this. And my character this week is Tracy, just because I am just worried about where the storyline is heading. And maybe it's because it's the first week, well, we've been seeing her kind of being her distant and foggy and having those memory lapses and just kind of going off silently. But we saw the seizures this week. And I am just really worried about the, like, please, don't be medical malady. But the only thing is I haven't seen, like, any, like obvious things of her, like, doing a lot of drinking, like, is she drinking coffee or anything like that? Like, drinking scenes to think, like, is she being poisoned somehow? So I don't know if she's being affected by something that's not truly medical, but it's, like, some kind of poison or something. I haven't seen anything that kind of, like, subtly hint that that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, again, it's like, that is what I'd rather see, is it be a poisoning, just like, you know, they mentioned the Susan being poisoned for a reason, but at the same time, it's just, there's no indication that that could be where they're going, other than that's our hope. So yeah, just, you know, please don't give Tracy a brain tumor. We know what that does to people, but at least Diane could get her off.
All right, host, we have a caller here on the line.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you for calling AfterBuzz TV. You're here with Frank and Lacretia. Say your name and where you're from.
Hi, it's Cheryl from South Carolina.
Hey, Cheryl.
How are you?
I'm good. I have a couple of thoughts about this week's show. First of all, Tracy, Jean Elliott's acting when she did the seizure scene was fabulous. That was spot on. I have unfortunately seen a couple of seizures, and she really did a very convincing job. The Kiki thing, I was really touched, and the only time I cried during Friday's show was when Morgan was talking to Kiki.
But Cheryl, are you enjoying Morgan and Kiki as a couple?
I don't enjoy Morgan and Kiki as a couple at all.
Yeah.
I think Kiki needs to find somebody who is a grown-up, because none of the Corinthos boys are grown-up.
Yeah, not even
And
Dante.
I love them.
And
I love them. Yeah, not even Dante. Exactly.
No,
but that was the only, I think, real hard thing that Morgan said or did in the last month, because he's been dealing so much with the bipolar, he doesn't know what's real.
yeah, it's.
But
I was hoping
that was from the heart.
It was from the heart, but I'm hoping that would be like, I would love them to just like go their separate ways, though. But when she woke up, or at least
Right.
that was like, oh,
But
you're
he
not
said
gonna.
that.
Oh.
But he said that. He said, I'm not good for you. You know, he said that when he was talking to her at her bedside.
And I hope he remembers that after he goes through going everything that he needs to. Please remember that, if anything else.
Yes.
Yes, and I love the scenes with Franco riding the bicycle down the hall at Shriner and falling over when Jake saw him, because Jake was so afraid he was going to wreck.
Yeah.
He didn't be able to ride it.
Oh, but no,
So,
that was great. I do like their friendship that they're striking between Jake and Franco.
I do. And the other friendship of the century is Mia and Maxie. That has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I love that relationship.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Cheryl, thank you so much for calling. We so much appreciate you watching and joining us and calling us in whenever we could get a chance to open up the phone calls. So thank you so much.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Look at that. While we're waiting for the next call real quick, let's get Lacretia's segment out here, the winner and loser of the week.
All right, and of course, because I've already mentioned it, but we know that Ava is my winner because, you know, I have to give it to her. Even with Kiki in the hospital, she did the right thing more than once this week. And, you know, the scene with Sonny in the chapel, I really love that scene because Ava just proved that she finally learned her lesson for now. Just like with Sonny, you know, the sweet thing, her giving Avery to him and just, you know, them sort of coming to an understanding was a real turning point for her character. Because as much as I dislike Sonny, I thought that was the right thing to do. And then again, with Morgan, she was like, you know what? I think you need to go in there, because if anybody's going to bring her out, it's going to be you. I mean, because even Julian was like, no, don't let him in there. He's the reason she's in here. But Ava did the right thing. And, you know, since I gave it to Carly last week, I had to give it to Ava this week, you know, for finally owning up that your kids' problems are because of you, in a way. You know, and then the loser of the week, and I hate it because we give it to them all the time, but they really need to snap out of it, the Falconaries. Because I thought we had this turning point with the Maxie and Nathan situation and talking about honesty. It's like, all right, yeah, they're getting it. And then the divorce papers and the ring nonsense. It's like, shake my head with these two. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, and if you got divorced with somebody you still clearly loved, would you just take those rings off and just you put them in a jar? Is that what you do? I'm gonna put them in a jar. That's just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, a jar, like not like in the drawer or anything. Like you have a jar that's just for like old wedding rings. I mean, usually you have a jar for a purpose of stuff, like jelly or.
Yeah, no, these are just my old wedding ring. That's where it goes. Yeah, they cannot address this soon enough. You know, it's just it's moments like that where it's like both Luke and Laura would not do this. They would not act this kind of just like, oh, the world is over, oh, woe is me. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, suck it up, Lulu. You're a Spencer. And Dante, I know you got a fire in you because you're a Corinthos and a Falconary.
Looks like
All right, we got another caller here. Welcome. Thank you for calling AfterBuzz TV. You're here with Frank and Lacretia. Make sure to turn down that listening device at the same time. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Gonna disconnect and gone.
All right. That wasn't the one thing about that. As we talk about the Corinthos boys there a little bit. Speaking of Dante, is the scene with Michael and Morgan, where that scene was so irritating. Where Morgan was like, "What are you talking about? What? I wasn't on a ledge. What are you? I was just hanging out. I wasn't gonna jump." That scene really irritated me.
Well, the thing is like, you know, with brothers, especially when you're the younger one, you don't want to seem weak. And I think that was the thing, is he tried to ham it up for Michael and like seem like, nah, that's not what I was going to do. I was just, clearing my head and all that. So that was to me very real because I've seen it before. And I do kind of hate that they're not having Michael involved with Morgan more, because he has always been Morgan's advocate. When his parents were away and all that, Michael and Morgan should be a little bit more, involved with one another in this story. And that's my only pet peeve, really, is because Michael's been the one who's always there for him. I get Dante not being there. They were never close.
All right, we got another caller here. Thank you for calling AfterBuzz TV. You're here with Frank and Lacretia. Go ahead and say your name and where you're from.
Hey, Frank and Lacretia. This is Jamel calling from Brooklyn.
Hey, Jamel, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing well. What'd you like this week?
Oh, wow. I like the scenes. I really love the scenes with Laura Wright and Maurice Bernard. They were at the top of their cylinders. I mean, they really were giving it all. But they were talking about their children. I really love those scenes.
Now, are you liking Sonny out of the wheelchair? I feel like he's just kind of reverted back into his old habits. I kind of enjoyed him more in the wheelchair. How do you feel?
You know what? I'm not a Sonny fan, so he could be in a wheelchair. He could be wherever he had. I'm not really a Sonny fan, but Maurice Bernard, what he was doing with Laura Wright, he was not in the wheelchair, and that's just him. That sort of power. And I love that them going toe to toe. So I guess I'm a fan of him out the wheelchair. I'm a fan of him out the wheelchair. And that sort of skulking around and being sad and being I don't know, I guess getting the best of everybody, getting the best of him, for a whole year pretty much. So I'm liking the turn. I'm not a Sonny fan. I like, the turn that he's having some more power plays and stuff like that.
Well, again, we talked about this earlier. I did really enjoy the scene there where he just finally says, Morgan, enough's enough. No. I'm not going to let you get away with this anymore. You're going.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I like that too. You know what? The Morgan, I think like you were saying, a couple of weeks and weeks, I was going through the screens. I watched the show during the weekdays, the rerun of the show, because I sometimes I don't be able to catch it on Sunday. But I was like, yes, Frank, I agree with you, because the Morgan storyline, I love the actor, but just sort of it's getting too much for me. It's like it's not hitting for me right now,
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me everything is Anna. I'm loving Fiona's performance right now, and I'm loving that they took this woman who basically was sort of like a supporting member for Robin, who I love Robin too. But Robin's gone, and they just put her front and center. She's doing amazing work, like she did when she saw My Children, and like she did when she was in the '80s. So I'm really focused on them, and I like more of her. I mean, and Morgan's storyline with the drugs and the not taking it, and I was like, okay, no, I don't need it right now.
Yeah. Do you see an Andre Anna relationship? Do you see that? Do you like that idea?
Oh boy, you know what? I like it. But Anna's is such a dynamic woman that I think that a triangle might be needed for her. I think that I like Anna, and I like Paul. Paul and Anna's chemistry, the actors, whatever, is outstanding. I didn't see it coming. He has chemistry with everybody, so I like the Paul and Andre, maybe a triangle, But can I also say that one of the things I'm hoping for in a couple of weeks is Michelle Stafford. Now, this woman is just she's up there with Mara West and all the rest of the heavy hitters over there, and she was tweeting that there's going to be some good stuff coming. I think I'm not sure if it's who knows what, but I hope that they give her the same treatment that they give Anna, because she is such a waste. They're basically wasting this dynamo, just sitting around and just sort of doing what they're doing to her. She needs to be more utilized, I think. I think that they're sort of wasting her. And, I'm hoping for that. Plus, I hope that they use them more. And also with Liz's storyline, I think that, I think that I'm afraid for her, because, if Nina goes off on medication, she can get, the Ava treatment and get caught up and cut up and who knows what. But I'm afraid for Liz. I'm really am. But I like that she's not, like I said before, I like that she's not with Jason, because I don't like Jason, and I think Sam and Jason should be together. I mean, they were together from the day one. They were always in scenes together. Just when the secret was revealed that they actually put Jason and Liz in some scenes together just so they can reveal and he can be upset. But all the scenes was with Sam. It was always them. So I like that she has somebody. But I'm hoping maybe somebody new will come in. There's always a doctor who's having chemistry with Carly, so maybe that boat is sailed. And I don't really want to see her with Franco because I think Nina will go crazy on her, and I don't want no more trauma for Liz. So I think either they bring somebody new for Liz, or just let her just be a mom and do something beautiful. But I'm hoping for that. Those are my hopes for Liz and for Nina.
Well, we'll keep your fingers crossed. In fact, we'll have Michelle Stafford here next Sunday. So give us a call the next Sunday, Jamel. Give a little shout out and say hi to Michelle Stafford.
Oh, okay. I love to. I love Michelle. She had a YouTube series I love too that she used to do like this little cute little like Arrested Development, Curb Your Enthusiasm series. I forget the name of it, but yeah, I love Michelle. I love all her little side gigs.
All right. Well, give us a call next week, Jamel. You say hi to Michelle and tell her yourself how much you love her stuff.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Oh, I think we have another hot call, perhaps.
All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You're on AfterBuzz TV Live.
Yes, my name's Jacob, and I'm from Amarillo, Texas. And I had a comment. You guys are really doing great on the show together.
Oh, that's so kind of you to say. It's all Lacretia. I'm just holding on for dear life.
Thanks, Jacob.
And I just wanted to say how much I know people don't like the Morgan storyline that much, but I really started enjoying it this week. I really thought he gave a good performance because I thought it was like true to life because I know people that have that condition, so I thought he was doing a really good job in doing his research. Just like the previous caller said, I wish they would do more stuff, Michelle Stafford, because right now it doesn't seem like they're even really using her at all. It's like, come on, get her storyline.
No, I feel like they're on a good trajectory with her dealing with Crimson, and that's kind of gone on the back burner for the past few weeks. So I'm hoping that starts coming back in the forefront.
And then I'm hoping, because I saw that they said they were going to bring the girl that plays Anna back for like 2 days. I hope they put her in scenes with the other kids, like the Quartermaine kids, even though they can't do Roll Quartermaine because he's doing that show. But I really like when they put the kids together because we've kind of been missing that since the new writers took over. But other than that, I think everything's going good except for the Carly and Sunny storyline. That's kind of dragging on just a little bit too. I'm kind of over it.
Well, we appreciate the call. Thank you so much for watching. And chime in with your thoughts and give us a call next time. Let us know how you're thinking Port Charles is doing.
Guys, keep up the good work.
Thanks so much. Have a great one. I like that. I feel so official right here with Alexis doing all this intro for us.
I know.
All right, you're calling in to AfterBuzz TV here with Frank and Lucretia. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Kimberly from Maryland.
Hey, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, I had 2 comments. My first one was that I am so sick of Jason and Sam. They took so long to get them together that now I don't even care about it.
I agree, Kimberly. I'm with you right there, 100%.
And then my other comment was, Sonny did all that lying and planning for what? What did he do? He went to the wedding.
Yeah,
he didn't go to the doctor. He didn't stop anything. What was the purpose of all that lying?
Yeah, if he hadn't been at that wedding, nothing would have happened there. Yeah, his big Machiavellian scheme just kind of like, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, I guess.
And see, I knew he was going to stand up at Julian's wedding just to stick it to him. But, Sonny.
Yeah, it was just no point to that. And then I hate the way that Sonny and Carly, they're such hypocrites, especially Sonny. He goes that when he was in the hospital and Ava took the baby, that was just so wrong for her to do that. But now Kiki's dying, and he's plotting on stealing the baby from her.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about earlier, we're so glad that Carly at least was keeping her head straight about it with Sonny. Like, no, this is just a temporary thing. This is not for the long term. But Sonny, yeah, you're right. He's just like, no, now I've got Avery back. I'm not letting her go. Like, come on, Sonny, you were doing so much better when you were there in the wheelchair.
Yeah, I like Carly, but I hate the way, like, people are trying to say in the chapter that she's doing good. She's not doing good. She does this all the time. She pretends that she's some great mother. She wants to get her kids help, and she wants to leave Sonny, wants Sonny to change. Then 10 minutes later, she's right back with him.
Well, it's I feel like at least for me personally, they can't do the Sonny and Carly breakup again. If they do that again so soon after they work so hard to put them back together, oh, forget it. I'm done with them then for good.
Yeah, to me, Carson should never happen again if they break up again.
Yeah, and I just want them to find Rick.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Rick, where are you?
I
Come
love
on.
Rick.
Come on back, Rick. Kimberly, thanks so much for giving us a call. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one. I think we got time for one more caller. Alexis, who's going to be our lucky last caller for the night?
I don't know. Whoever calls in right now.
Oh, right now. Look at that. Woo.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah,
I'm
look
waiting
at that.
for the last one.
Don't leave Alexis
and
thinking.
that's it. Hi, welcome, and thank you for calling to AfterBuzz TV. You're on with Frank and Lacretia here on General Hospital AfterBuzz TV After Show. Please introduce yourself.
Cheese and crackers. I got through. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Alex, I think we have the wrong number. Can we?
No, you got no wrong
right, here we
number.
go.
Mhm.
I'm in the seat now,
Hi,
James
guys.
Lott Jr. I'm in the seat now. How are you,
Yes,
sir?
you are.
I tried, James. There's so many people calling at the same time. I was like, I know that's your number.
How's your birthday going? How's your granddaughter's birthday?
It was great. We had a wonderful time together, just the two of us. Went to dinner and had night. Posted some pictures online. I posted some more, and it just was. It's like 11 going on 35. So.
Oh, all right. Look at that. Now, in our little time remaining here, do you happen to have a quote of the week that you want to share with us, or do you want to just save it for the Facebook page?
I'm a favorite person page, but I just wanted to say that I agree with Lacretia. I had said this on the chat room when I kind of breezed through. I like when Liz has the upper hand when she's like with AJ and Rick and all of them. I like that kind of Liz.
Yeah, because to me, I feel like she's bitchier. And I like Liz as a bitch. I don't like her as a victim. And
too.
that's the thing. It's like, you know, that's the person I want to see. Becky can do it. Let her do it.
She can do it. And because, as you said before, back in the day, that's where I thought she was a bad girl.
Yeah, and I liked that, Liz.
Exactly. Her sister Sarah was a good girl. She was a bad girl. So I'm like, I want some bad girl Liz.
You and me both.
So that's my only comment. You guys do such a great job holding down the fort. I feel so fortunate. So thank you.
Oh my goodness, we try every week just to live up to your sterling reputation here at AfterBuzz TV, James Lott Jr.
Well, that'll never happen, but you do a good
That's
job.
what I was going to say. Thank you, James Lott Jr. I was going to say the same thing.
Alexis, what?
Just kidding. I love you all.
We know who Alexis's favorite is.
Yes,
Cool.
I always thought it was me.
You're second in line.
So, James,
Alexis is my girl. But no, you guys are all my folks. I know you guys got to go. Great job, and I will see you guys all back next week when we have Michelle Stafford when she comes on. I'm so excited.
Yes, I was just asking you to plug that, and look at he did it right there. A true professional. Every time they.
Well, see you guys all. Thanks for viewers for watching. I'll see you guys next week.
You got it, James.
Bye,
Jr.
James.
Bye, Alexis. Bye, you guys.
Bye, James.
There you go. Well, that's going to bring us to the end here of this week's GH Report. But as James Lott Jr. was saying right there at the end, guess what, guys? Michelle Stafford is going to be in studio next Sunday. That's pretty awesome.
Dun, dun,
Look at that.
dun.
So make sure you guys are calling. But if you have questions for her, you can put them on the Facebook page, or you can try calling in next week, get online, and be able to talk to her there in person while she's sitting here in the studio, being fawned on and lovingly grilled by Lacretia, Ladine, James Lott Jr., and myself. In the meantime, though, let's continue the conversation online. We'll follow us on Twitter. We love having a little dialogue with all the fans here, talking about the week that's happening in Port Charles. Lacretia, where can they find you?
Again, if you can spell it, it's LACRETIALYON, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
There you go. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie, and you can see me every week with my improv group Max at IO West here in Los Angeles, Tuesday nights at 9:30. Follow us there on Facebook, like us on iTunes, comment on the YouTube channel there, hashtag GH Report, hashtag ABTV GH Report. We'll continue the conversation online. We'll see you here next Sunday with Michelle Stafford. Until then, see you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.